For today, I thought what the agenda would be to give you an overview of Canvas. And it normally takes me 40 to 45 minutes to do this overview. And I hope that the questions that you have will be answered as you look through here. Canvas is intuitive, but I think that after today, you'll be able to enjoy the Canvas environment either as a course that you build out yourself or a course that you migrate and enhance and tweak to make it your own. So before we start in terms of the demo here and share my overview, three things that are important to me to share with you. Number one is that Canvas works on all browsers. So for students before and other LMSs that might have had difficulty in accessing the LMS, or you in fact, you're not going to have that difficulty with Canvas. It is a great thing. Number two, there are no service packs. Canvas is not brought down to do any updates. It's done in real time, in time. So you're not going to have disruptions with Canvas or student learning. And number three, in other LMSs that I've used, there's been client-side Java, and with Canvas, it just doesn't exist. So Canvas has tried to reduce the barriers to learning so that students and faculty can enjoy the environment. So what I'm showing you right now is a dashboard. And this is a dashboard that tells me the courses that I'm teaching or the courses that I'm taking. They are described as words with colors. I can actually change the colors myself. I can put images in those particular tiles. There's another view of the dashboard, which I like a lot, which bubbles up all of the new things that have happened in Canvas since the last time I accessed the course or the environment. So you'll see I have 3 assignment notifications since the last time I logged into Canvas earlier this morning. That idea of notifications is important to Canvas. So what they do is they allow each of us to go under notifications and tell Canvas ways in which we want to be notified of what's going on in our courses other than logging into Canvas. So what do I mean by that? Well, as a student, as an end user, as a faculty member, as a staff member, I can go into notifications and say to Canvas, you know, I would like to add my email address, my work email, my Gmail, my Yahoo mail. It doesn't really matter. I'd also like to add my cell phone number. I would also like to add my Twitter account. I personally use my Twitter account in conjunction with Canvas. And so, for example, if I'm a student and there's a new discussion posting, I've told Canvas, you notify me on my work email every single day discussion postings that are taking place, or right away, or a daily summary. But also notify me on my cell phone. So what happens here is great. I used to give students my cell phone number. I give it to Canvas now, and Canvas acts as a broker for all of those messages that are going in and going out. So if I use my iPhone to receive a text message about a discussion, and a student receives it on a work email, they'll reply, all reply goes back to Canvas, and the user will receive it in his or her own preference. Now, just to recall here, this is just for notifications. This is just so that students can set up their notifications to be reminded of things that are happening, that are going to happen, and faculty as well. Students tend to turn this up. Faculty sometimes decide that it's overwhelming, so they go in and adjust it and turn it down. But students like it because in addition to this, they can access the entire course on their mobile devices. Canvas comes with a free mobile app, which means that a student can complete those requirements on their mobile phone. And it is great because that's where students today and us as well live today. Let's go from notifications preferences to another favorite features, and that is the Eportfolio. Canvas comes with an Eportfolio solution. Everything that I'm showing you today is available today, and it comes as part of your license. There are no additional costs for any of these things. So this is Tom. He's created a nice Eportfolio in which he describes a little bit about his home life, his creative life, his professional life, and a capstone project. So with the Eportfolio in Canvas, I can provide an Eportfolio for an assignment request that a faculty member makes. And all I need to do as a student is just copy and paste the URL of the Eportfolio into that assignment request so the faculty member can grade it. It can be for a course. You can create as many ePortfolios as you want in Canvas. As a student, I can then share that external URL with a future recruiter or an employer or a grad school so they can see the accomplishments of my work. So it doesn't matter if it's a student or a faculty member, anybody can use the ePortfolio, and you can create as many of them as you want. Pretty simple. You can decide if the institution wants to install it. It's part of the Canvas environment. Turn it on or off. It's totally up to you, but I love it. Let's go over here to the navigation bar on the left. I'll go to the very bottom where it says Commons. Commons is a learning object repository that comes with Canvas. So let me describe it to you. A learning object repository is a place where I, as a faculty member, can put my courses, my modules, my assignments, my quizzes, my discussions, my pages, documents, videos, audio, images, anything that I want in this big repository and just share it with myself. Or I can decide, it would be really great to share a video that I found this morning with 27 other Spanish faculty members. So I could share that with the faculty members of my choice. I could share it with the department, with the division. I can even share it with an institution. In the Midwest right now, there are many R1 institutions that are using Commons to share resources across campuses. So the secret sauce here is that you as a faculty member decide with whom you want to share it or if you want to share it at all. Now, the other side of the coin is that this is a learning object repository. So if I put things in, I should be able to take things out. If I go and put a keyword in this particular repository for whatever my subject area is, I will find resources that I can then click on and import into my course. And believe it or not, there are 18 million users in Canvas right now, and many of them are sharing openly with the rest of us. So even though you may not want to share your things with people, there are others out there in this wonderful community of users that are sharing with us, and that's how you find it. So it's called Commons. It is installed in your particular environment there on campus, and this is where you find it, right over here on the left. One last thing about this resource. If I create a course and I allow, let's say, 27 faculty to use that course, they can change it up if they want, they can modify it, but I create the basic course. And let's say that I find a typo in the syllabus the night before the course is going to go live. If I make the change at my course level, then that change will promulgate to those that use that resource. They'll get a notification saying, hey, there's a new version of this. Let's say it's a syllabus. Would you like to take the new version? And you accept that new version in Canvas. So it's a great tool. It's a wonderful resource. It's included, and you'll see it right there on the left nav bar. Before I go into a course, I'd like to talk a little bit about the calendar. In my work with so many institutions, when I ask if faculty use the calendar in their current legacy LMS, there are only a handful of people that usually raise their hand. If you're one of them, that's great. And I'm glad that you're using it right now in your legacy LMS to help keep students on task. I think that's wonderful. Let me show you Canvas's calendar and let me know what you think about it. So this is the calendar. As you notice, they are color-coded, right? The items on the different date are color-coded, and they actually match the courses that I'm teaching or the courses that I'm taking. I personally am a member of Faculty Lounge, which is Faculty Senate, and their dates show up on my calendar as well. If I unclick one of these, those dates will not show up. So it's super easy to do that if you just want to see one course to see what's due. So that's a nice feature. This calendar also speaks to other calendars that students and faculty are using. So if you're using iCal or Google Calendar or Outlook, these particular features of the calendar are going to go out to those calendars, again, to help keep students on task and us too as faculty. There is an agenda view of the calendar if you like that. It's a linear view, which you can, of course, print out. There's also a scheduler so that faculty can schedule their office hours, tutoring times, advising times, whatever on the Canvas calendar, and then students can sign up for those particular slots. The nice thing about Canvas is that it comes with a web conferencing solution, and it is synchronous. So if you wanted to meet your students in your office, you could, but you could also meet them in the web conferencing tool in Canvas and meet them virtually. And then by far my favorite feature of the Canvas calendar is that if you do have to extend a due date for one reason or another, because you didn't cover the material, or you just want to perhaps decide that, because of weather, you have to extend a due date, all you basically do is just grab that date, that item, and just drag it out to whatever date you want. By doing this, there are 3 things that happen in Canvas. Number 1, the due date for that assignment gets updated automatically. Number 2, the notification to the students go out automatically that has changed. And number 3, it updates the syllabus in Canvas. So overall, I think you're going to love the calendar. Again, Canvas is doing the heavy work by, at the back end, putting everything on the calendar for us and for our students as well, as long as you have due dates in your course that you create. All right, let's go over to a course. For today, I'm choosing a geology course because it doesn't have any of my student data in there, but it is a great course that will demonstrate the features and functionality of Canvas. So when Canvas comes to campus, we help with the branding of the environment so that it looks like your colors, your logos, your name. The environment can be branded at the account level, also at the sub-account level. At a course, though, we as faculty like to make our course our own. So Canvas has this nice little feature over on the right that's called Choose a Homepage, which allows you to choose the homepage that you would like to be able to demonstrate to your students. So for today, I have my Pages front page. That's what I created with my 6 images and modules. But you could say, I want to show the course activity stream or the modules or the assignments list or the syllabus. It is up to you. There are many faculty that use many of the different choices here. I am just using the Pages because I like it and it's easy to edit, but you can make your course your own that way. In addition to that, there's a nice course setup checklist over on the right that if you had to, and you got a Canvas shell today, which was blank, you could create a very simple course in Canvas in about 30 to 40 minutes. If you had your resources, you could build that course out and start on your way to building out a wonderful large course. But in addition to that, Devin Daly and Brian Whitmer, our founders, knew that there were going to be many of us that already use the learning management system. So they actually included this wonderful, wonderful way of being able to migrate your course from your current learning management system to Canvas with a click of a button. And that's a migration tool that exists in Canvas. And you're going to say, well, how good is that migration tool? And I'm going to say that that migration tool has been perfected every single year. It gets a wonderful update because let me do this. I'm on Slack. Let me quit that. I'm so sorry, everyone. I'm just going to quit that so that it doesn't interfere with our particular demo for today. But I can also let you know that the migration tool works very, very well. It has been perfected and it does a really good job. Does it mean that it's perfect? It does not mean that it's perfect. When your course gets migrated from Blackboard to Canvas, you're going to find that the metaphors that we use are the same as Blackboard, so the terminology is not going to be that different. You'll want to use some of the features and functionality of Canvas to enhance what you've been doing perhaps for years in your current Blackboard environment. So be aware that it's a really great discussions, content, quizzes come over very well. The other thing that this is nice for this tool is if I wanted to copy my Canvas course for the new term right now as I'm getting ready for the spring term, all I need to do is choose the course that I'd like to copy over and tell Canvas the dates that I taught that course this semester and the dates that I'm going to teach the course for the next semester, whether it's a 16-week or a 6-week, it doesn't matter. you can just click on import and it'll update all the due dates for you in that course. If there is a date or two that doesn't come over just perfectly, just go to the calendar, drag and drop that date, and Canvas will do the rest. So this is a great time saver for those of us that want to get that course ready for the spring and just don't want to spend a lot of time changing the dates. By the way, if you teach a Tuesday, Thursday course for the fall, and it's going to be a Monday, Wednesday for the spring, it'll update those due dates for you as well. So whether you're getting started in Canvas or getting ready for the new term, Canvas makes it very simple to do that with a course setup checklist. The syllabus tool is something that I mentioned a little while ago, so let's make a segue over to this tool. You'll notice that the course syllabus tool in Canvas has two parts. The bottom part of the syllabus is the itinerary of the course. By that I mean Canvas at the back end is building this beautiful itinerary of what is due on those dates of the year. It's doing that for you so that students will be able to go in and see exactly what's due on those particular dates. The upper portion of the syllabus tool is where we put our course policies, our text, anything you want to. And you'll notice that there is a syllabus here, and it is going to be opened up inline for us because Canvas comes with an inline previewer that allows students and faculty to see Word, PDF, Excel, and PowerPoint inline so that they don't have to have Microsoft Office on their computers, nor do you. And I like to give the example of being in an internet cafe somewhere, sitting down to finish your course. But what happens if you don't have Microsoft Office? In Canvas, they took care of it by having that inline previewer. So let's just pretend, for the sake of creating some content here, that this particular text was not there. What if I just had my banner in this beautiful content editor? I could put in some simple text like this and highlight the word syllabus and go look for that syllabus that I know came over. Watch this. Over on the right, you're going to have all of your links, all of your assignments, your quizzes, your announcements, your discussions, modules, all of that. When your course gets migrated over, it's going to be at your fingertips. You have your files from your course that you had in Blackboard. So there's my syllabus and there's my PDF. Boom, I'm done. With one click, I just imported that syllabus into the content editor. What else do we have here? Let's take a look. We have an image database. So for those of us that like images, you can go into Flickr. It's a special Flickr. It's one that Canvas provides for us, and they've already established a Creative Commons license. And as you put in a keyword, you'll be taken to several hundred images that match those keywords in your particular field. To use them, you just click, and it'll bring it right into that content editor, and you can resize them if you want. Many of us like using audio and video. I'm included. So right here where you've got that film strip, you just click on the film strip and automatically takes you to the recording capability of Canvas. Hi, everyone. You can record directly into Canvas. You can have your students record into Canvas wherever you see that film strip. And as you upload video and audio, the nice thing about Canvas is that it guarantees that it's all going to work. So it transcodes all the audio and video at the back end, and it delivers it in the flavor that the end user can receive it. So whether you're on an iPad or iPhone or PC or Mac, it is a wonderful thing that Canvas has figured out how to make sure that it's going to work so no one gets frustrated. And then the last thing of the content editor that I'll share is something that's really important to all of us, and that is the ability to add more than 245 apps. Wonderful apps from the Edu App Center, things that you might want to use. If you want to use, let's say some of you might be using a publisher resource like Cengage, or if you were using Echo 360, or a lot of different third-party tools. And I actually installed a couple so you could see. One of them is the Khan Academy, which is a free resource. And this Khan Academy comes so easily to my students and to me as well, because with one click of a button, I added it. Another one is the ability to use a graphing tool like this. I have a good friend that's a math teacher, and so she said, hey, look what I found. And I said, oh, let me install it. So she and her students can use that graph inside of Canvas. I don't teach math, but if I did, I certainly would use it. There's an equation editor in Canvas for those math teachers and scientific folks that like to use math equations. It's there as well. So it looks deceptively simple, but it's quite powerful, this content editor. And again, I'm showing it to you in one place, but it is pervasive in Canvas. So that is the syllabus tool in Canvas along with the content editor. Modules is probably where you're going to create your content and present it to your students. So as you note, I have one course orientation, and then I have 5 weeks here. If I expand these, which I'm going to do it now, I can create this beautiful learning experience for my students. How? Well, I could actually hide everything on this navigation bar. I really could, except for home, syllabus, and modules, because if I do a really good job of building out the module, I can include those things in the modules, right? All of those could be part of this beautiful learning experience that students go through step by step and complete in a timely fashion. So reading the syllabus, meeting the community in discussions, learning about our field trips. And by the way, if you don't like the way this order is, you can drag and drop and make it your own. You can actually drag and drop files from your desktop in Canvas to Canvas as well. So let's say that I zipped up my files on my desktop. You can drag those into Canvas and drop them right into the files area. A lot of people do this when they don't migrate their courses from Blackboard to Canvas and they decide to start anew. As long as your files are all right here, then you can very quickly build out your modules and other items in Canvas as well. And what can I do here? Well, I can change the name to whatever I want. I can lock it, and Canvas will unlock it on the day that I tell it. I like this. It's selective or adaptive release. So how this works is simple. You tell Canvas, okay, so students must read the syllabus before they view something, or they must take the quiz before they can do something else. They not only have to submit that quiz, but they have to get, let's say, an 8 out of 9. So then what you're doing is you're selectively releasing your content to your students. And believe me, when I first started, I exposed all of my students, to all 16 weeks of the semester at once. Well, you know what they did? They went through all 6 weeks of the semester at once. So by selectively releasing, you're guiding your students through that wonderful learning path. Well, once we teach and we provide our materials, the next thing is to do what? Assess. We love to assess. Teachers, faculty, we live to test and to grade. Really? Yes, we do. I'm just being facetious, but Canvas is going to make it very easy for us to grade. So if you'll look at this particular assignment, I'm going to show you 3 things under one assignment. First of all, you'll notice that there is a content editor. So you can use audio and video to the description of the assignment. Down here is the rubric. This is important. In Canvas, rubrics are very simple to create and share and document achievement. So these first 4 that I've included here as my criteria, those are 4 that I want to make sure that I assess for my course. This last one that's tagged, that could be the one that our division dean pre-populated in Canvas and said to us, hey faculty, I pre-populated Canvas with all of the outcomes or competencies or standards for the division or department. When convenient or appropriate, if you could pull that in to your rubric, I can do a report of all the faculty that used that competency, all the students that met that competency, and the artifact they submitted. Yep, you can look up and see when Katie Young submitted that long paper and how she met the requirement and what that paper looked like. It is just fabulous in Canvas. So how do we use the rubric to grade? Well, there's a free speed grader, and you can use that on your laptop or your computer, or you can use it as an app on your iPad or your tablet. And you'll notice that the student turned in the concept map. And if I use my comment tool over here, I can provide some nice comments here to that particular assignment. The integration with Turnitin in the speed grader is just stellar. It is an amazing integration. So once you all, those of you that use Turnitin, that is something that integrates really beautifully. There are other plagiarism detection companies like Unplag and PlagScan, but if you've got Turnitin, the integration is beautiful. And then over here on the right, you'll notice that there is a rubric, right? The one that I just created. So let's just open that up and let's use it to grade. Boom. I'm just going to gently tap, boom, 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 boom. And I have now graded the assignment. If you want to give some nice visual feedback, you can use your camera, fire that up, and just respond to that student's assessment and tell them what a great job they've done, or if they need to do something else. By the way, students can also use their cameras on their phones to provide feedback to you. So students can always use the same features and functionality here of the faculty. The way that they use it in the speed grader is only when they have a peer review assignment. So in a peer review assignment, students are allowed to use the speed grader. Other than that, it is a faculty tool, and it is a free app to be able to download as well. Announcements, pretty simple. You make an announcement that something is due. I don't use announcements as much, and I'll tell you why. The notifications tool in Canvas is so wonderful that students seem to set those up and get notified of so many things. But gee, you know, if I won that cruise for a week and I was going to be gone, I would make a special announcement. So I would use it for that. Conferences. So let's talk about conferences. For those of you that like to use synchronous communication, conferences is the tool that you're going to want to use. With conferences, I can hold my courses virtually. So if I wanted to lecture, or if I wanted to bring in a guest speaker, or if I wanted to just have a session and have students share their desktop, or I could share my desktop with them, this is where you would do it. You would do it right in this conference. And I'll just start one for you so you can see it. You'll notice that you can set the duration, you can enable the recording, and you can invite all course members, or you can actually just invite a couple. If you're just going to do some tutoring, then you could just invite Annie. But for today, let's invite everybody that's in our course, and we will enable the recording, okay? So now this particular session is going to be recorded, and I start the recording, and now I am in my course, and I am going to fire up my web conferencing tool, and here is where I'm actually going to be able to see my students, hear my students. I can use the whiteboard to be able to, I don't know, create some equations. I can see my students when they log in over here on the left, audio, video, and I can use PowerPoint as well. So this is a great tool that comes in every course, in every group in Canvas. So you're going to love it. And again, it's something that's easy to use, and it's built right in. People. So for those of you that like to divide your course into groups, I do this all the time. The People tab is going to serve you well, because you can create a group and have students sign up, or you can assign students to that particular group. I want you to notice something pretty cool, that when I'm in a group in Canvas, you're going to notice that the home page and the navigation page changes. Watch what I mean. So if I'm in a group in your course, I'm going to see a different nav bar in a group. So I'll be able to make announcements, see the pages, which is our wikis or content pages. The people in my group have asynchronous discussions, have a robust files area, web conferencing, and get this, in every group, in every course, we have Google Doc collaboration. So you've not only got that in your course, but you have it in a group as well. So the good news about groups is this: you can have groups at a course level, but you can also have groups at an overarching level. What do I mean by that? Well, watch. I'm in a group over here on the left, and it's Faculty Lounge. So when I go to campuses and see how they're using groups, they're using it for the Faculty Textbook Selection Committee, for the President Cabinet, for the different student groups and organizations on campus, for Faculty Senate. The world is open to you. At the overarching level, your LMS administrator is going to create the group. At a course level, you as a faculty member will be creating the group, but the same features and functionalities are there in that particular web conferencing tool, or in that group tool. Let's continue down. I'm going to come back to quizzes here in a second, and grades, collaborations we talked about. If you teach on the ground or blended course, you can take attendance in Canvas and it'll speak to the gradebook. We provide a great big files area for you to be able to have your files. I'm going to talk a little bit about the analytics that come with Canvas. So let me just tell you that in Canvas, when you open up your course, you're going to see this dashboard. This one's going to look different than yours just because this is from a course that's been taught over the course of a semester. On the very top row, you'll see that the blue in that particular row are the page views across all of your students. The orange are the students that took an action across all of your course. The second row are the assignments and how they've been completed in a timely or untimely manner. Then the grades column, and then the student. So you'll see that the student's name is blurred out, but you still get the idea that with one view, you can see how active your students are, how they're doing on assignments, and their current score. Well, let's drill down to Katie. Let's see how Katie's doing. Not a real active student. It could not be one of my students for that particular reason, and that is that this student at the top row, looks like she started off strong, but her activity in the course diminished. Someone should have reached out and said, hey, how can I help you? What do we need to do to get more engaged? It looks like there was an attempt in the second row where the faculty member in the blue posted twice and had communication with the student, and the student finally responded. It was a little late in the semester. This is a full semester. And then the assignments for Katie, and at the bottom, her grades. And then at an account level, the dean or the division person is going to be able to see across the account how we're doing. What's happening in Canvas? What are the tools that we're using? How many students do we have? How many assessments have been turned in? And then there's one more view of this as well, and it is at the institutional level, and that is this one. So someone there on campus is going to have this view of the university. And by the way, you can have this view at the sub-account as well as the account level. So just be aware that that exists. So data, 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 right? It's important to all of us. It's important to see that we're using the LMS effectively and what it can tell us about teaching and learning. So I get very excited when I talk about data because Canvas provides to all of you a daily pouring of all of your data. So you have access to your data on a day-to-day basis. You can always use our API to extract that data more often, but you know that if you go to the Canvas data portal once a day, we provide all of your data to you. So what can you do with that data? So you can extract that data and use a BI tool like the one I'm using here called Tableau and create some beautiful visuals of what's going on. So let's see. There might be one that will show you course activity. Course activity. This may be super important to the faculty member or to your retention specialist who needs to go in and verify that that student has participated or is there or is still engaged, right? So you all get to decide what you want to do with the data and make it meaningful for your reporting. It's just something that Canvas provides to you, and there's no extra charge for that either. So I like the fact that we do provide that in Canvas. Under settings, there are 3 things that I'll share with you. Number 1, the navigation is there. So this is where you're going to make the course your own. As you go through the navigation, if you do not want to use Google Doc collaboration and you don't want your students to see it, just hide it. Drag it down. Anything that you don't want, if you don't take attendance because you just teach online, just hide it and students won't see it. If you just want to clean up your navigation and do everything using modules, then just hide it. They'll still be able to access it in the modules tool. Over here is where you'll see your apps. So for those of you that are interested in installing those apps, be aware that they're here. I know that the campus is using a LTI tool, Starfish. That's one that you could install at a sub-account or account level. So there are all kinds of apps that are here and easy to install with one click of a button. But you don't have to go externally to find it. It's right here in every course. And then if you're a faculty member that really likes to take a look at to see how neat and how tidy your course is, you can actually go into the student view and you'll be able to not only see the course as a student, but also complete work, take assessments, complete those modules, and then you can reset it again down here and take that all again, just to make sure that you know what your students are seeing is exactly what you want them to see as well. So the last thing we'll talk about today are quizzes and grades. Quizzes come in very, very well when you do a migration. So when you log into Canvas for the very first time, I will tell you that the quizzes will be there. If they're not in order, guess what you get to do? You probably know this by now, but you get to drag and drop. So if you're not in order, you can, oh, I know what I did. So on these, I don't let you undo them because I want the students to go through these in this order. But in other modules, you can drag and drop. But for these quizzes, I have them locked because I want them to take them in the order in which they are, date-wise. So here are 3 things that I'll share with you about our quizzes. The first thing that I fell in love with was moderate this quiz. When we need to give students accommodations, or if we need to have students take the test again or reopen it, if it's Annie, all you do is go to the pencil and let her take 120 minutes on this test. Every semester, I have a student that is identified by the accommodations office as needing accommodation for limited vision or limited mobility or limited hearing. And so I can go in here and give that student additional time to complete that test or an additional attempt here as well. This is also a cool tool for this particular scenario. So in Canvas, if we had 30 students in a lab today and they were taking a high stakes test and being proctored, if the Wi-Fi went off and the electricity went off and the students were in the Canvas quiz, it wouldn't matter because the students could continue to work in that quiz. And when the Wi-Fi came back on or the electricity came back on, they would find that all of their work had been saved. But if you wanted to be nice as a proctor and give students additional time, you could just go in here and choose them all and give them all an additional amount of time to compensate for the time that you were down because of Wi-Fi or electricity. And then the types of questions that Canvas provides are going to look super, super familiar to you. And that's because they are. And under the questions tab here, if I wanted to, I could go down. Let's say we're going to add a new question. And it doesn't want me to add a new question because our students are taking this quiz right now. But let's just pretend that I'm going to add a new question. These are the types of questions that Canvas comes with. And it will mechanically or automatically grade all of them except for the essay question. So really easy. And again, you notice that that content editor was there. So content editor is available for quiz questions and quiz answers. And so let's take us to the grades. And we'll finish with the grades for today. So in Canvas, there are 2 views of your gradebook. If you're using competencies and outcomes and standards, you're going to have this beautiful visual of how your students are doing on the competencies, right? These are the competencies that I had in that rubric, so they match that. Well, geez, I know right away that I should reach out to Annie because she's not doing so well with this competency. I need to help her, but she's doing great on these. So it's a visual of your grade book according to whether or not you use outcomes or not. This next view is going to be the view of your grade book just as a regular view. And this is going to be where you're going to be able to see the columns that match what it is that you're going to assess in your course. So for example, in the assessment part of Canvas, We can use the big paper, the assignment Dropbox, a quiz, an ePortfolio, experiential learning, field trips as our gradebook assignment list, because that's what we might use when we grade our grades. So let's go back over here in another way. It's coming. I promise it's coming. So the gradebook in Canvas is going to reflect how you set up your scoring. And how you do that in Canvas is actually through the assignment tabs in Canvas. All right, let's go in another way, shall we? We'll go in another way here. I'm not sure if it's because we're recording this or what it might be, but it shouldn't take that long. Here we go. Perfect. So here's the gradebook. As you'll see, all of these columns match what it is that I'm assessing in my course. And there's a little drop-down menu where it allows me to go see the assignment, launch the speed grader, message students who, for example, haven't taken it yet, or haven't been graded, or scored less than a grade, or scored more than that grade. It blind copies the students when that message is sent right here from the gradebook. In addition to that, you can also do things like set default grades, curve grades, mute the assignment. And if you're like me and you like to switch around the columns, you can do that. If you want to squeeze those columns over because you're grading this, you can do that as well. And then on this particular section over here, this is where you can view the grading history. In Canvas, we never delete anything. That includes the gradebook. So if you wanted to see who graded something and when they graded it, you can do that by looking at the grading history in the gradebook. You can also publish grades directly to your student information system, and then a myriad of other things as well. So the gradebook is very user-friendly. It acts very much like Excel. And again, I want to make sure that I mention to you that if I change something in the gradebook, I can do it right here as well. So if I decided that I was going to give that student an extra bonus point, I could do that right there and not have to go anywhere else. All right, so in summary, Canvas is a wonderful learning management system, and included in Canvas are going to be things like the ePortfolio, outcomes and analytics, the mobile apps for students and for faculty. We'll also include the web conferencing tool, all of your data, and so much more, and the ability to install and include an LTI app into your course, into the sub-account, or into the account as well. So I hope that this has been an overview of Canvas that you found informative and rewarding. And if you're interested in setting up a course in Canvas with a Canvas shell or trying the migration tool, I know all of the great folks there on campus under Tom's division can afford that for you and make it possible. Thank you very much and have a wonderful, wonderful day.